Hi, my name's Courtney Vlasiuk. This is for Communications 3, and this is my speech on why you should adopt, not shop. How many of you guys have pets at home? Since as long as I can remember, we've always had pets in the house, and they have either all been rescued or have been found. These pets make some of the best friends that you will ever have. For at least 3 years now, I've been part of the Paws for Life program, which is a program that rescues dogs and takes them to the prisons and then rehomes them for people to adopt out, which makes it much more of an incentive to adopt these dogs because they have already had training and are always housebroken and are going to be your new best friend. In this speech, I will be informing my audience as to why we must adopt and not shop, because there are so many dogs that need forever homes and need to be pulled out of the shelters. This is a great way to find your new best friend. My main points that I will be touching on is the problem of overpopulation in shelters with dogs and how many of them end up in the shelters, and then for my second point, how we are able to fix this problem, which is the solution. And with this being said, the best way to go about this is adopting animals instead of buying them from breeders and puppy mills. And then the third point is the benefits of animal shelters and the love that these animals are able to provide. So the problem is so many dogs are available to adopt each year, and because of this, they have so many dogs in the shelters, and overpopulation is a big problem. This is a result of people getting puppies thinking they're super, super cute when they're little, and then realizing once they get older and they are big dogs that some of them are just way too much energy and they can't take care of them anymore, which is super sad because they end up in shelters where people aren't always inclined to adopt older dogs just because families mostly look for puppies. That's just kind of how it goes, which is the sad truth. And the other issue that also makes a lot of dogs end up in shelters is dog fighting. This is a huge problem, not so much where we are, but especially in other places in the United States and mostly other countries, this poses a large issue. We really need to make this known better to people so they are able to realize this and adopt more dogs. One of my supporting points is each year it's estimated more than 1 million adoptable dogs and cats are euthanized in the United States simply because there are too many pets. And this is pulled directly from the ASPCA website. And too few people are considering adoption when looking for pets. This is also directly from the ASPCA website and is another one of my supporting points. If you buy a dog online or from a pet store or flea market, you're almost certainly getting a dog from a puppy mill. And then puppy mills are factory-style breeding facilities that throw away the welfare of dogs. Animals from puppy mills are housed in shockingly poor conditions with improper medical care and often are very, very sick and have behavioral issues almost all the time whenever they are adopted out. And the moms are also treated very, very poorly. This next supporting point is from a website with no author, but 49.7% of shelter-on animals are dogs, and then 22% of them are eventually reunited with owners, which is a good statistic, but still one that could be better. And then 47% of dogs are adopted, and 10% are euthanized or die in shelters, which, compared to the other stats, isn't super high, but still something that is a big issue. And then, because of this, our shelters are very overpopulated. The solution to this problem is, well, so many dogs end up in shelters. We can help fix this problem because we can keep more dogs out of shelters and in loving and safe homes. When so many dogs do end up in shelters, it's a big issue, and we have to start to think about ways that we can change this. And one of the major ways is to start adopting out dogs, which the Pause for Life program that I have been a part of for a long time now provides well-behaved dogs that are trained and ready to be placed in homes. This quote by Rachel Weisz states, "Shelters may wish to encourage approaching behaviorals by teaching animals to come to the front of the kennel when people pass by. For example, by asking staff and volunteers to provide treats from a cup to give to these dogs will positively associate with people. When the fearful animals get to come up to the front of the kennels, it encourages them to have much more interactive behavior." Well, this is a very big issue because animals are very adaptable, especially when you're trying to put in resources. Most of them further receive training on top of what they do, and sometimes these bad habits can come up in the shelters, but with corrective behavior, it can be nipped in the butt. Pause for Life is a rescue organization that takes dogs out of the shelters, like I have stated, and puts them in homes. This is one of the greatest resources because they pull dogs directly from the shelters, keeping them out, but then also make them much more desirable to adopt because they're already trained and people don't have to do that on top of this. The benefit of shelter dogs is so amazing. They make some of the best companions when fit in the right home. They blossom and make great dogs. For my final point, by lowering the euthanasia rates and preparing dogs for service jobs, Pause for Life is providing everybody with a second chance. Usually, when you adopt a pet, the cost of spay and neuter and vaccinations are not included, but with Pause for Life, your donation cost is. This makes such an amazing experience for so many people. Many people worry about connecting with a rescue dog, but shelter dogs have so much love to give, and they won't ever stop. Well, now that you have heard all the benefits that a shelter dog can bring to the table, I leave it up to you to make this choice. In this speech, we covered why so many dogs end up in the shelter and how we are able to prevent this. My call to action to you as your fellow classmates is the next time that you think about getting a dog, you consider adopting before shopping. Thank you guys so much for listening to this speech.